Hello, hi. Welcome to this year's edition of the CIO 200 Summit. It's a pleasure to be here. My name is Vincent Nuwamanya. I'm the Enterprise Account Manager for Veritas for East Africa. It's a pleasure to be presenting to you today the Veritas Enterprise Data Services. To begin with, I'll quickly run a quick introduction on who Veritas is. So Veritas is a privately owned data management company. We are trusted by 93% of Fortune 100 companies and 87% of the Fortune Global 500 companies. This by numbers is quite a large number of organizations. It's different verticals, from governments to FSI to academic institutions. So what do they basically trust us to do? We do ensure that we provide business continuity for these organizations. We provide key and ensure that we keep their mission critical business services always on. And we ensure that these applications are always optimally performing. I mean, think of your bank account today, especially in the era of the pandemic. You are able to constantly have access to your bank account, for example. You do have access to all the resources. You're able to do transfers. You're able to make payments. What we basically do at Veritas for these organizations is to ensure that we ensure that these critical applications are available to you, the customer, and they are working optimally. You are able to transact without any hitches, any glitches, and everything that you're doing for yourself is basically it's in top notch, and you have the optimal performance of these applications. The second thing we do for these companies is that we ensure that all their data is protected and they are able to recover from any eventualities from ransomware attacks, as we have noticed an increase in this, and any other unexpected data. It could be natural disasters, it could be accidental or human errors that may result into data loss. So we basically ensure that all our customers' data is basically protected and customers are able to basically recover from any eventualities. The other thing that we do for these customers is ensuring that there is information governance. There's been, across in the region where we operate, there's been quite a number of legislations or laws that have been enacted by different governments to ensure the protection of personal identifiable information, or what we call PII. Much as this came through from the Western countries in Europe and America, we have pretty much adopted the same. I mean, different governments are putting up different laws to ensure that customers' personal identifiable information is protected. So at Veritas, we do help these organizations to certify legal and regulatory requirements regarding customers' data to ensure that all customers' data or all data for any kind of customer is basically protected in accordance with the regulations that are in place for the different countries. I mean, today in this era of the pandemic, we basically find ourselves at crossroads. The crossroads is for our different customers who basically find themselves having to decide whether they should continue buying different products to attain these goals of ensuring that there is data protection. There are quite a number of challenges that different customers face, and they're at crossroads on whether to continue, operating the same way they basically operated before the current challenges of today, or if they could basically standardize their infrastructure and their workloads on an enterprise data service platform that intelligently works together together with their infrastructure to protect customers' data and ensure business continuity within their organizations. So the Veritas Enterprise Data Services is basically what it addresses. We do have solutions that ensure that customers can essentially have a platform where they can standardize and address all their different customer challenges that they face, especially in the era of the pandemic and the new normal, where we've adopted new ways of working, new ways of protecting our customers' organizations and addressing different challenges, especially around the threat of ransomware. So our customers across the different sectors basically have four major areas that they've tried to basically address. The first one is cyber. I mean, by and large, about 53% of all major organizations in the last 1 year have basically been hit by ransomware attack that has essentially caused downtime to their enterprises, leading to data loss just this year. This number is basically a number that we can basically, put a tag to. This is all that has been recorded. In reality, most of our customers, big or small, are hit by ransomware, but this never comes to light. But to date, we know that this is a number that has essentially been flagged off, and that is the cost to that. So what do our customers basically ask? The first question is, how do we deal with data everywhere? I mean, we noticed that with the pandemic, our data has been scattered. People who used to work from offices now do work from home. So a lot of the workloads are essentially all over the place. It's on customers' laptops and desktops at home or in the cloud or whatever has been adopted. The second question is, how do we keep up with the threat of actors? I mean, ransomware is a $20 billion business today. And with this, the different cyber criminals are working day in and day out to ensure that there are new ways of, having ransomware attacks. And this is one of the key things that we basically address at Veritas. The third thing is what happens when an attack happens. So at Veritas, we're able to address all these three key questions using our technologies that have evolved over time. The second priority area that most of our customers are looking at is the expansion of the cloud. I mean, there's been quite an adoption of the cloud, especially in the last 18 to 12 months since the pandemic began. There was quite a movement from on-prem to the cloud, based on the premise that everybody had to work from home. So this changed the way data was hosted and applications were hosted. Our customers have had to essentially migrate a lot of their data from on-prem into the cloud. So the quick questions we basically answer here is, how can we manage across our multiple clouds? When customers basically move from cloud, from on-prem to cloud, how are they able to do the migration of this data? Once the data is in the cloud, how do you ensure that it's sufficiently protected against these day-to-day threats that are facing data everywhere? And then how do we also optimize the utilization of the cloud to ensure that there is minimal costs around cloud adoption? So these are some of the areas that we basically address at Veritas. The third thing is compliance. I already talked about how different governments are putting in place different regulations around data governance. Key questions that are frequently asked by our customers is, are we prepared for an audit, for example? If there was an audit today to find out what amount of data do you have in your environment, who owns this data? Are you able to answer all these questions in an audit? We basically ensure that the customers are retaining only the data that is important to them. We can quickly find and manage content that has been generated by the different customers. And we do basically ensure that customers achieve compliance around their data protection and personal identifiable information. And then the last area that our customers basically prioritize is the area of cost. There's been a complete overspend by about 50% or more into the cloud in the last 12 to 16 months of the pandemic, where there's been more data generated from users working from home, and there's been an increase in the number of silos that come with this adoption. This has definitely created inefficiencies due to the manual tasks and processes that are involved in the management of this data that has basically been created. So quick questions is, how can we lower costs by deleting? I mean, all this information that has been generated over time and continues to grow, how are customers able to manage the cost of managing data that is growing by deleting some of the data that is not relevant to the organization, or what we call the non-business data? How can we also lower the costs by automating, for example, the failover of infrastructure from on-prem into the cloud? Or how can we lower the costs by simplifying the adoption of cloud and management of data that is already sitting in the cloud? So at Veritas, we basically address all these 4 areas of concern by achieving ransomware immunity. We do have a complete data protection platform called Net Backup that allows our customers to achieve ransomware immunity. We completely protect organizations against ransomware. We can protect, we can detect, and we can recover data that has been under attack by ransomware. We do have solutions that allow organizations to optimize cloud costs and effectiveness for customers that have essentially adopted the cloud. Our solutions allow you to be able to migrate your data from on-prem to the cloud, to be able to migrate from cloud to cloud, and be able to optimally utilize the costs associated with management of your data in the cloud. And then we also have solutions that ensure that you're compliant with your data management needs in accordance with a set of rules or regulations from different governments. Our compliance solution basically ensure that GDPR and any other personal identifiable information regulations are basically complied with in regards to management of data. And then finally, we ensure that our customers reduce the total cost of ownership of management of information and protection of their data against the threat of ransomware and data loss that could be a result of any calamity or any unexpected data loss that customers could basically experience. So with all of this and much more, we are happy to essentially address some of the challenges that you may be facing in your organization today. We basically based in East Africa. We pretty much look after different organizations, and we are happy to pretty much get in touch and share some of these solutions for you to be able to address some of the challenges that you're facing. Thank you, and enjoy the rest of the CIO 2000 Summit. Have a good day. Thank you.